and there's this look at it in both directions at the same time. So
Ed's too pure and wholesome.
Like this definitely screams of Steven much more than so much of Ed. When Steven puts things out there, he's very, very sarcastic about those things. Ed is very straightforward about stuff most of the time.
And he's going to try to be more vocally clever. Like he's going to be more turn of phrase. This is more like, here's what's happening.
Brutal emotional honesty. Yes. I love it.
And again, it's all kind of said in the bridge. Like there is a rawness in that bridge that kind of sums it up very quickly. And I don't know who wrote it, but once again, I want to say it was Stephen or Kevin that came up with the bridge of leave your heart, lay down your art, you're here for the party. Smile and wave, try to behave, be happy that they've made you a celebrity. And what, throughout the whole song, what he's kind of trying to say, the point of this kind of song as I see it is kind of this duality of celebrity, of I've always wanted to be this thing and I've really seeked it out and wanted to be this, and I'm not taking anything away from that I don't want to be that. But at the same time, people are telling him that he can't be him now that he's a celebrity. Going back to the song that made him popular, and we get this again, going back to other songs that he's written, such as Box Set. Hold it together, hide your true feelings about things, be happy you're a celebrity, and pretend to be something that we want you to be and that we think you are. Hide your humanity, hide your opinions, and he's in many ways being sarcastic about all of that and being a smartass, but he's pointing out that the reality of celebrity status in his own smartass way is that you can't, once you're a celebrity, be human anymore. You can't anymore express and tell people your opinions. You can't be political. And instead of making new music, doing the art that you like, laying it down and leaving behind who you have to lay it down, leave behind who you are if you want to be a celebrity. Smile, wave, behave, and then continue to be a celebrity. I love that line of, I could disappear into the great unknown and it would wear my face as if it were its very own, because he no longer is him. The celebrity has taken over. Who he has to be and who he has to pretend to be has taken over. And he still wants to be a celebrity, but there's an emptiness inside of him now that people aren't accepting him for who he is. It's interesting that you go back to the earlier songs that are kind of written on the same kind of topic. So you have songs like New Kid on the Block or Box Set. But before that point, you have songs like Dirty Laundry, which is very simple about how everyone wants to hear your dirty laundry. And then you have follow-ups after this, like TMZ by Weird Al, about how everyone wants to see all the bad, dirty things about you. And you can't be a celebrity, and they want to tear you down for those things. And you also get B&L's and Steve's opinion on his new album, as well as on Gordon and throughout the career. This seems to be something that Steven keeps coming back to, of let us be who we are, accept us for who we are or don't, but let us be who we are and let us put out there and shine, or just at least be realistic, authentic. And I get the feeling that this is him again, kind of during that time they were being more political, and with Maroon they were a lot more political, some of the songs that were on there, and then also on this album. And it's interesting that he's like, no, we're gonna put out there who we are, and just like he said in that concert, you know what, if these songs are me, they're personal, and if you don't get that, if you don't understand that, why are you here? Why are you listening to this music? And
exactly. This is my show. It's my name on the tickets. You paid to see me.
Right. This is not the you show. This is the Steven show. This is I am putting out there my beliefs and my feelings, and you're here and you paid the ticket to see me, not for me to see you, kind of thing. And I think this is him laying it raw. And I, in a lot of ways, love that he's laying it raw out there for people to accept or to not accept.
Have you guys heard about Taylor Swift being carried around in a huge suitcase so she doesn't have to deal with the paparazzi?
No, I haven't heard about that.
What?
That's apparently a real thing. So there you go. You have no. Obviously that's Taylor Swift. She's pretty on the higher end of being well known. But yeah, I mean, I can't imagine. I've heard celebrities talk about people walk up to them in the middle of they're doing their business in the bathroom and stuff like that. It's like, come on, man. We all need a little bit of privacy, even if it's just little tiny bits. You know what I mean? So I can't imagine that would be. You are giving up something very real when you become a celebrity. I've thought about that a lot. Not that I think I'll ever be in a position to really weigh the pros and cons, but I've just thought about it. Like, you know what? I don't want to be famous. I'll be rich. That's fine, but I don't want to be famous. Not too famous, anyway.
And especially, it's so different. Even from when this album was written in 2000 or put out in 2003.
Oh yeah, things have changed so much since
to
then.
Now,
too.
Like, holy moly, social media is out of control, and everybody is up each other's butts and in each other's faces, and you can't get away from it. And everything, it doesn't exist unless it's on social media. So it's even worse of a give and take.
I agree.
And that's a really good point, because 2005 was when everything seemed to go a little bit sour with the not including people in the songwriting process, and the having just the band write the songs, and then there's a lot more infighting in the band.
Right. And maybe that's what he was rebelling against, and part of why everything fell apart the way it did. Like, he couldn't just get out of it. He had to, like, drop a bomb in his life and then get out of it to then come back and do what he's doing now, which is great. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like this is the beginning of all of that. Like, this is a documentation of the beginning of his trying to step out from all of that.
Yeah, and I just love, I'm a big fan of anything that's kind of pushing the idea of introspection and self-analysis. I think that we're in a society now that's very focused on the exterior. Everyone's presenting the best possible version of their life up on social media. Look how great everything is for me, and this is awesome, and I'm the best, and blah, 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 blah. And we're constantly being bombarded with it's not just social media, but advertisements and we no longer have quiet time, and there's no time for introspection, and you lose something very, very important, I think. And so that's why I love songs. I love artists who are so emotionally honest, that are not afraid of gazing into the abyss of themselves, I guess, and seeing, like, what is there, throw a rock or a pebble in, see how long it takes to hear a splash.
So this is one of those songs where I love every line that is in the song. There's nothing about the song that I don't, I wouldn't say love, but there's nothing about this song. There's no song lines about the song that I would pull out and be like, that's a song line that I know that I don't like. Get rid of it. And like, if I were going to say I love this line, I'd be here for a long time. But I want to hear from you guys. Like, what are your favorite line? What are your favorite lines out of this song?
I just we keep coming back to all that's left of me is my celebrity. It encapsulates the entire meaning of the song. It's like you put so much into building this public persona, and then suddenly, is there anything underneath anymore? You know what I mean? That's it. Really devastating, and it's really, really great. That's a great one. I really like when I'm riding in my limo, I won't look out the window. Might make me homesick for humanity. Yeah, it reminds me of these studies I've read where the more wealthy someone becomes, the less they have touch with more day-to-day kind of people who just kind of more average people, and your empathy actually decreases. People become less empathetic. So it's really kind of scary that can happen to someone, and it can happen to anyone. So that's the kind of thing that I think, like Steven, I would be concerned about that kind of thing if that was happening to me. It really struck me.
To me, I really love the beginning. Don't call me a zero. I'm going to be a hero. Like Phil Esposito or the Kennedys. That's like a totally different generation. Phil Esposito was a hero when I was a kid, and that was a long time ago, folks. And then, of course, the Kennedys were even before that, but they're like untouchable. You know what I mean? And this, but it's a whole different world from a whole different time. And celebrity then to celebrity now is so different. And it's almost, I just feel like that ties in so interestingly with the song, because it's like you wish for this thing as a kid and then you get it. And it's like, holy crap, like you said earlier, Aaron, be careful what you wish for. Because, you're a celebrity. Guess what? It comes at a cost. And this is what it costs you. But I just like the introspective feel of it, and just it's good. And I think this is my favorite song off of the album, actually. The rest of the album is okay, but this one was the best song, I think.
The best song off an album you don't particularly care for.
And it's not even that I don't.
Would you say that this marks for you the beginning of a downward trend for the band? So this is... I don't know BNL that well. So for me, the analogy is Metallica. This is their Black Album. The Black Album is a great album. Black Album is a fantastic album. Enter the Sandman's a great song. But there was a definite tonal change in the way they didn't have the classical Baroque sounding guitar solos as much anymore and stuff like that. And it was like, oh, this is a different Metallica. And Metallica was not the same after the Black Album. So I feel like maybe there's an analogy there.
I feel like I have to be more self-centered about it, I guess. I do feel, because I can't speak for the band, even though I think I can. I can't officially speak for them, but I just feel like when this album came out and I started listening to it, there was something different, and I didn't emotionally connect with it like I connected with everything before it. It wasn't the same visceral response, and I don't know if that's because of where I was in my life, or it's because where they were as a band, or maybe it was both. I feel like, because, at the time we didn't know that Bare Naked Ladies was going to break up and Steven was going to go through everything that he went through. But looking back in retrospect, I feel like this is where things started to change. I remember feeling like I wanted to love it, and I didn't want to admit that to myself. Like, I remember, like, my feeling about my feeling. I didn't love it. I wanted to love it. I was upset that I didn't love it.
It took me a few times of listening to this album to really love it. I mean, it wasn't the magic that you get with Maroon or with Gordon or Stunt. It wasn't the magic of those albums. It wasn't every song spoke to me in that moment. And going down through the list of the album, I can't pick any one thing that it was. But the first time I listened to it, it was great, it was good, but it wasn't magic like it was for those other albums. So, like I said, this could be, or like you said, this could be that downward turn that people feel. And I hate to say downward turn because the band changed. It was different. And Steven's writing was different, and the band's writing was different, and would be different for quite some time. The band would be continuing to be different from this point on, versus Steven's writing would kind of later on return to this new album. But it was different for quite some time. There are songs on here that I love, and it's hard to say that it's not magical.
I'm laughing because it's such a different experience for me, whereas you guys experience these albums as they came out. Like, oh, I can't wait for the next BNL album. I just can't wait for next week to see what's coming at me, and I get a newer song and then an older song, and then
It's cool because it's such a different perspective.
And I'm liking so much of it. So I'm really glad that I ended up doing this.
And I do want to say, I didn't say this before. I said a coworker sent this to me. Elizabeth, if you're listening to this podcast, I appreciate you getting this CD for me and sending it to me. It was awesome.
We know you listen. Come on the show.
Oh my gosh, that would be awesome.
You have to come on because you're the one who gave her this album.
True that, actually.
That would be perfect.
I'm glad that we're doing it this way, and I'm glad that we picked this way to do it because, for example, the It's All Been Done podcast, they're doing it in order of song release. So they got the albums, and then they're following the album from beginning to end, from first album to last album. And I would start to get a little sad and reminiscent of the older Stunt and Maroon once we've passed them.